The 10th of April 2018, Mark Zuckerberg testified before the Senate, and I honestly liked it. I found it refreshing to see someone who actually answers the questions instead of getting into aggressive sidetracks, no matter the answers being true or not. Anyway, in this hearing he mentioned net neutrality, and I would like to highlight 3 of those minutes.
Thank you for being with us. My question is going to be sort of a follow-up on what Senator Hatch was talking about, and let me agree with basically his advice that we don't want to overregulate to the point where we're stifling innovation and investment. I understand with regard to suggested rules or suggested legislation, there are at least 2 schools of thought out there. One would be the ISPs, the Internet Service Providers, who are advocating for privacy protections for consumers that apply to all online entities equally across the entire Internet ecosystem. Now, Facebook is an edge provider, on the other hand. It's my understanding that many edge providers, such as Facebook, may not support that effort because edge providers have different business models than the ISPs and should not be considered like services. So do you think we need consistent privacy protections for consumers across the entire Internet ecosystem that are based on the type of consumer information being collected, used, or shared, regardless of the entity doing the collecting or using or sharing?
So he does mention internet service providers in a broader context. But the question itself is not really focused on ISPs as much as Zuckerberg stands on consumers' protection rights. Regardless of the entity doing the collecting or using or sharing, he says. In other words, Zuckerberg doesn't need to take a stand on the issue of how ISPs should work, aka net neutrality or not.
Senator, this is an important question. I would differentiate between ISPs, which I consider to be the pipes of the internet, and the platforms like Facebook or Google or Twitter or YouTube that are the apps or platforms on top of that. I think in general, the expectations that people have of the pipes are somewhat different from the platforms. So there might be areas where there needs to be more regulation in one and less in the other, but I think that there are going to be other places where there needs to be more regulation of the other type. Specifically, though, on the pipes, one of the important issues that I think we face and have debated is
when you say pipes, you mean
ISPs.
The ISPs.
Yeah. And I know net neutrality has been a hotly debated topic. And one of the reasons why I have been out there saying that I think that should be the case is because I look at my own story of when I was getting started building Facebook at Harvard. I only had one option for an ISP to use. And if I had to pay extra in order to make it so that my app could potentially be seen or used by other people, then we probably wouldn't be here today.
Okay, but we're talking about privacy concerns, and let me just say we'll have to follow up on this. But I think you and I agree this is going to be one of the major items of debate if we have to go forward and do this from a governmental standpoint.